evening, and welcome to Paranormal Files Into the Darkness tonight. Our guest is Vivien Powell, Spooky Viv, live from the UK. So I want to thank her because it's a 5-hour difference, so it's midnight. So again, if this is a live show, questions, put them in if you're commenting, put them in capitals. If you have a question for her or for us, we'll try to get to them. I'm going to respect the time to try to keep this to an hour for her. And with that being said, Vivien, welcome. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thanks for coming on. So I know we were pre-chatting before. It's been a while, last July when I first met you. Yes. Over in the UK. So what have you been up to? Investigations, just everything in general.
Oh, God, I've been investigating. I've been writing a book of short ghost stories. They're based on true events and things that have happened around me throughout the years. So it's been a busy time. And then I've got a cryptid conference coming up. I'm speaking as a guest speaker to talk about all my paranormal investigations and what's been happening and when and why and how. And yeah, it's been a mad time, to be quite honest.
Nice. So I have to ask, what got you into the paranormal? Like, what is there like a certain age?
Well, I used to see spirit as a child, and my earliest childhood memory is one of seeing a man coming into my house using a key while I was playing in the hall with my cars and my trucks. And he used a key, he came in, and he was a stranger using a key to come into my house, and then just walking straight at me, through me, and out through the back of the house. And I used to see a lot of strange things growing up. And I suppose living a life of fear, because it was frightening. I don't care what anyone says. When you're a child and you're experiencing things like that, you can see them, hear them, feel them, talk to them. It is frightening. And as I grew older, it increased. It never stopped. And I suppose, if you like, I was forced to go down the pathway of mediumship.
Okay.
So I ended up going to a church for help, really. And they said to me, you've got two choices. You can use it or you'll lose it. Choose. And I went, well, I don't even know what that means. So they said, I'll make that choice for you. You'll use it. And through them, I joined a circle, a development circle, private one. Mm-hmm. And it took me 9 months from walking into that development circle as a novice, if you like, mm-hmm. to actually going on stage and on platform and giving demonstration of mediumship. I suppose you would call it like a gallery reading.
Yeah.
Within a church.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing that. It took me 9 months, but I come across a lot of, it sounds weird, but jealousy, because I was so quick at doing it.
Yeah.
So there were people that were sitting in that circle that had been there for years and years and years, and still hadn't got to the level, if you like, that I was when I first walked in. So you got a little bit of, it became political.
Oh, no.
I mean, my style of mediumship is not like what you see on TV and, these so-called medium mm-hmm. celebrities doing it. I tend to bring in fun, and because I'm younger as well, they didn't expect me to be able to do what I could do. But through all of the churches and everything that I'd served, if you like, people mm-hmm. were coming to me. Well, this one lady came to me and said to me, I need your help. I said, what do you mean you need my help? She said, I have a 9-year-old boy at home and we are terrified in our house. This is what's been happening. I need your help. And I was more intrigued than anything else. I mean, the fact that it was a 9-year-old boy, it was like, of course, I'm not going to turn my back on you. And so I walked into that house to help these people. and to physically seeing being coats being thrown off the coat hook onto the floor, and hearing voices through speakers that weren't even plugged into the wall, and all around this little boy. That is what started me on my paranormal journey, if you like, into
Okay.
going into homes, investigating. And I mean, I have a secret weapon, my mediumship. That is my weapon.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky in that respect. But I use gadgets and gizmos, and I try and get proof, because a medium can tell you anything all day long.
Hmm.
Not really that much physical proof that comes with that.
Yeah, especially if it's vague or just in general. I know somebody with a G name, or an M name. Like, okay, Mary, Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody has a Mary or a Mike or something.
But then, by having this extra sensory power, as I call it, my spidey senses, I can use that, and I have used that, and I've actually been able to take photographs. I've got photographic evidence. I've been not just on my own, but I've been with my team and with people,
Mhm.
and they tend to sort of follow me around. Just right, we're in this room. Take a shitload of photos. Something's going to happen. One of you is going to get something on a camera,
Yeah.
and there it is. They feel stuff now. For doing all the paranormal investigations, some of it rubs off, and you get that kind of. They tell me they get that feeling. Oh, I know someone's standing behind me. Well, turn around and take a picture then. I, but through doing this, I mean, I had a guy on my team who is a prison officer, and he's as a psychic as a brick, and he questions everything. And that's a load of rubbish. He was with me at the Tower of London, and he decided to stick with me. I don't know. He was a bit of a pain, to be honest, but he stuck with me, and wherever I was, he was there. And I took a series of photographs on a walkway. He decided to take photographs on the walkway. And I said, I'm getting a really strange feeling. He's saying, well, what does that mean? I said, just take more photos. So we both stood there, took photos from different angles.
Hmm.
And at the Tower of London, which is a very iconic place in England, we got a full apparition standing on this walkway. I got it from one angle and he got it from the other.
Oh,
We
that's
both got it. But he was like, I said, look, you need to look through these pictures now. And he's going, what? I said, just go back and look through them, which we did together.
nice.
And he couldn't believe it. The Yeoman warder just, he was blown away, because they had all the full reports. This had been reported for a long, long time, that this walkway was haunted by a certain person. But it was the first time we actually ever got it photographed.
Oh, nice. Now, was this a night investigation or was it
That
during
was a night investigation at the Tower of London, and they don't allow paranormal groups to go in, but we went in.
Oh, that would be wow. That's awesome. And what
Because
a unique experience. That's yeah.
but I mean, that place is just a paranormal investigator's dream, because it has so many hauntings there, even of animals. We've photographed animals that shouldn't be there, because it was kept as, there was a zoo there at one point, and
Wow.
people don't know that. They all think about queens and kings getting their heads chopped off. Oh yeah, take them to the tower. It's not just all about that.
Wow.
And there, and I'm quite proud of this, I got an A-class EVP of a very famous man here in England. I was calling out for him. I was being facetious, thinking,
Mhm.
out of anyone, if I'd want somebody to talk to me, it would be him. And I was calling out to him, and I was calling him by his name rather than the name everybody knows and loves. And I said, Guido, are you there? If you're there, just tell me that you're there, and I'll accept that, and I'll leave you alone. And the response I got was, they're hurting my hands. Now, Guido is known as Guy Fawkes.
Okay.
And they did torture him so badly to get him to admit about the gunpowder plot and blowing up Houses of Parliament here in England. They tortured him so badly, and it's not widely reported what they did to his hands. They literally smashed them to pieces, that
Oh,
he could
wow.
not sign his declaration or his confession. He couldn't sign it. He couldn't even hold a pen. And he was making reference to his hands. And when I played this to some of the people that work there, they were blown away. So
Wow.
we think it's him.
Yeah.
We don't know, but
Oh, that's wild. And England being an older country than the United States, I mean, there's got to be a lot of stuff going on.
why do you say that? That's not true.
You don't
You
think?
honestly,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's
no,
not, but
no,
I
no,
mean,
no. You have I mean, okay, you might not have the buildings, but you
yeah,
have the land,
yeah.
you have the cave systems, you have what the First Nation, the indigenous people that were
Mhm.
there. You have so much, and people say, "Oh, you're lucky over there in the UK." Well, no, you're lucky too. You're just not looking for it. That's why you don't see it, don't get it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, what is besides the tower? It sounds like that might be the answer, but what is your most memorable? And I ask people this, and sometimes they say they can't pick one, but what would
Oh,
be?
I can pick one.
Oh, really?
Oh, seriously, yes. It was the most frightening experience I've ever had in my life. And I've had a few, I can tell you. Um, I went to a church with my co host, Dan. We went to this church. He wanted to go and look around a church. And I said, I know, I'll take you to this church. I've just heard about it. I think it's great. We'll go and have a look there. Okay, so we drove to this church. It's not too far away from me. And in this church is a waxworks figure of a woman called Sarah Hare. And Sarah Hare died through blood poisoning. She was spinning or doing something, pricked her finger, a bit like Sleeping Beauty. It got infected and she ended up dying. Now, there is a waxwork figure of her in her likeness before she died, and it's wearing her original clothing from the 18th century. It's wearing her clothes
Oh,
and one
wow.
of her wigs. And it's inside a church. It's really weird. It looks like a little cabinet until you open the door and you see her staring at you. It's like, whoa, it's just really weird. So we did a little bit of an investigation inside this church with one of the church wardens' permission, and had a great time in there. Didn't really get too much. Saw a lot of World War II graffiti that was put there. Had a really lovely time. And then when we came out of the church, it's a very, very quiet and peaceful place. I've got to tell you, it's surrounded by fields, farmers' fields. There's absolutely nothing there. In the graveyard, there's a graveyard with some prominent graves in there.
Oh, okay.
Basically, as as the sun began to set, I mean, we told the church warden, "Oh, lock the church. We're going to concentrate outside a little bit now and enjoy the experience. If you see the torches, you'll know it's us." And he said, "Yeah, that's fine." So the sun started setting, and it was as quick as it was, like in a flash. Something went past my face really quickly, but I noticed. How can I explain it? Like sackcloth, like gingham, like and it was all raggedy and it was grey, and I could have reached out and touched it, but it was so quick. And I said, "Oh, something's just gone in front of my face really quick, like really close to me." And my colleague was saying, "Oh, it's in your mind. The sun's going down. Your mind's playing tricks on you." And the sun did go down, and it happened again. But this time, where it was grey, it turned black. And I was
Oh,
seeing black, and it happened really fast again in front of my face. It's like, oh, it's happened again. Oh, it's just your mind playing tricks. Just sit down here and just calm. And you're in a graveyard. you're feeling a bit nerve. And I said, yeah, maybe. So I sat down, and then I saw it from a distance. And what I can only describe it is, like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't see a face. It's just emptiness. It's black.
Oh.
It's like nothing there. But you've got the cloak, and the bottom's all raggedy, a bit like if you think about Harry Potter and you remember the Dementors.
Yes.
A bit like that.
Okay.
So I saw that right to the right hand side of me, and then as I looked forward, don't look at it. There was another one. There was 4 in total, 4 of them, and I started getting a bit worried because I didn't know what they were. Never seen anything like it in my life. And I was telling Dan, and Dan didn't believe me. And then about half an hour later, he saw 2 of them. He saw 2 of them, and he doesn't see anything.
No.
He doesn't feel, see, hear, nothing. He saw 2 of them. And he's calling them to come closer to. I'm going, leave them over there. Like, I don't know what they are. Just leave them. Because they look like that, we can't assume that they're going to be friendly. We can't assume anything. We don't know what we're facing, So to call them to come and closer to us, I just thought it was a bit mad. I was scared. I won't lie to you. I was very scared. I wanted to leave immediately. Just get in the car, lock the doors, drive off, and calm down. But yeah, that was scary, and my most frightening time in my whole of my paranormal career is that.
Oh wow, that's insane. And right after dusk, it's all happening. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard people talk about seeing something similar in America, and somebody called them wraiths. Somebody had called them something else. The only one thing that really I would compare it to was one man had a barn, and he'd sent his wife down into the barn because he heard a lot of commotion in his barn. So she grabbed the camera because she wasn't scared and went into the barn, and she actually filmed exactly the same thing. And I saw 4 of them.
Oh, wow.
She didn't know she'd filmed it at the time, but that was in America.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, not over here. That was in America. But I've never seen anybody else that has seen or filmed or talked about anything the same as what we saw, apart from that one guy.
Yeah. So when you investigate these places, do you get permission? Do you have to, let me ask, you have to pay? Like, I know here in America, there's some places that you have to pay to go. And I'm like, why do we have to pay to go to a place? I'm sure there's more, if people like you were saying about the woman with the 9-year-old, like if somebody came up and said, hey, I think my place might have something going on, would you guys be willing to investigate? That's the stuff that, I mean, not that I don't mind the historic places, but it's like, that stuff is just as, cool to investigate as well. So, I mean, do you guys have do they charge you fees to like the Tower of, London?
Well, no, we didn't pay to do the Tower of London.
Oh,
the church, we didn't pay to do that.
no.
I've done private cases, and people have offered to pay me, and it's like, no. I don't charge you at all.
No.
Not even because one lady, I mean, I was on that case. It was an extreme haunting, and I was on that case for nearly 3 years.
The 9-year-old.
She used to try and, no, this is another one. This lady, she used to try and pay me. I said, no. Like, I stay with you. You give me a bed, you feed me, and provide me with tea and coffee. That's payment enough. I don't need anything else,
So with you being a medium, do you have a way to shut that off, or do you constantly get stuff coming to you, or is it?
I've programmed myself over the years to be able to flick it on and off like a light switch. But spirit, if they want to tell you something, whether you want to hear it or not, you're going to hear it. if they want your attention, if they're going to do something, they're going to do it. I've seen. See, I work full time. I have a normal daytime job. I work in finance,
Oh, okay.
and what's really strange is I work in a very haunted building. It's a very old. Used to be a factory, and then it was turned into It's a lovely Georgian built house. It's beautiful, and it's haunted. And I've seen it. I've experienced it. And it's like I'm sitting at work going, not right now. I've got to do this spreadsheet.
Come back later.
I'm not so busy.
Have other people experienced it in the office, or?
Yes,
Oh,
yes. Somebody that I worked with, they called me to their part of the building because paperwork suddenly flew up in the air and landed straight in the dustbin. That couldn't possibly have happened the way it did.
Oh my God, that's wild.
I'm just plugging you in because my battery's just running low on.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, there we go.
On Saturday, Gwen just found out. She thought her station was haunted, but the one coworker came and said like the other day, which I want to. And I know she's watching. If she is, she can comment. I think it was a microwave clock just staying at 10:10. It just stayed at 10:10 and stuff like that. So she's like, I didn't know it was haunted. I mean, but it's interesting to hear. Like again, it's like she's there, and she's sensitive. I think she'd be able to pick up. I don't think as far as
she'd love my building where we walk. So part of the building, it sort of slopes a little bit like that. It's really weird. But as you walk past the CEO's office, that's a little slope. There's a door that you have to walk through first, and then there's a little walkway. And I'd got through the first door, and there's another door at the end, and then I'm up in the attic. I've gone past the CEO's office, and I'm there. There's nobody else there that time of the morning. And the footsteps it's like you're being rushed behind you. Somebody's rushing up behind you, and you can hear the footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
You turn around, there's nobody there. It's like, oh, hello. We've nicknamed him Pete. All right, Pete. Leave me alone now.
Oh, that's wild. So, with the new year, what do you have anything coming up? Any exciting things planned for investigations?
Well, I've done a bit of research for the Centre for Fortean Zoology, and Jonathan Downes we heard about this story of a pig man being sighted, and giving chase to a member of the public during broad daylight hours at Cannock Chase. So Jonathan sent me to this place in Cannock Chase to investigate this reported sighting of this pig man. And I think I've smashed the case. It's not a pig man at all.
No.
I was there like 2 months ago, and a cold January morning, afternoon. I went to this place, and I looked at my husband. I said, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" He said, "What are you thinking?" I said, "This place is a dogging site, and people are now putting masks on to hide their identity. And there must have been a couple there during daylight hours that were disturbed. And so one of them put the mask on and gave chase, and that's your pig man." So it's nothing paranormal there at all. So I'll tell you where it is. It's called Circle Ring. Okay. It used to be a castle fort there. It's only a small place, but it's a notorious site for people that do strange things with each other in cars. But it squashed that myth that there's a pig man or there's a dog man or in this particular place. No, it's not. It's people.
People.
It's people.
What a shame.
I know. But it's quite a lovely place to go and visit. It's got the history. It's a very ancient site. There was a castle there. You can still see the remnants. You can still see the moat, and it's a lovely place to go and visit. But yeah, there's not what the claims are saying. Yeah,
Oh
no.
yeah. I enjoyed my time when we were over in June when we came to Daniel's event. Yeah, and just like we Gwen and I we were going to drive back up to London, but we thought it's nice staying down in that area, so we just spent the whole time down there. And so then on another trip we'd like to get up, but now she's coming over in May, but she's coming without me because of again her work schedule is more flexible than mine.
Oh,
So yeah, so she's coming over alone. Yes.
yeah. I'm going to that same conference. I'm opening the conference. I'm the first guest speaker on.
Oh yes.
But I've got DJ from Alaskan Killer Bigfoot coming to stay with me.
Okay.
And he doesn't know this yet, but he hasn't got time to have jet lag or anything like that, because the moment he lands and I get him in my car, we're doing all sorts of things. And he wants to do a ghost hunt.
Yes.
Which I've arranged a ghost hunt during the day in a very iconic place with a very iconic person.
Okay.
So it's there's only going to be me, DJ, and this person, and maybe a member of staff in the whole of the building.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting because he's more cryptid side of things than the paranormal. And I'm going to take him on a Jack the Ripper walk around like East End of London.
Oh, really? Oh, that would be fun. So, private tour.
We're going to go in public with that one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So just to make it a bit more fun, because when they're screaming and jumping and getting frightened, it might add, more of the.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
There's other things that I've got planned with DJ, but he doesn't know what's going to hit him, and he thinks he's going to get it's going to be easy, because then we have to travel to the conference, and I think he's got some forest excursions and things going off there, and I'll get a day to relax. I think he's out working.
Yes, I believe Daniel has a lot of events planned, and I'm wishing him much success. And so
you haven't got your ticket, get one.
I wish I could. I know. I was bummed when he moved it to May. I mean, we were with just my vacation time and stuff. Like we've used a week just beginning of this month for Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and I'm like, I just don't, the time, and it's like, oh, like I said, Gwen could be like, hey, I just need these days off, and she gets them off because she'll just work before and after to make up her hours. I can't do that. So it's just like, oh, but I was like, oh man, he's moving it to May and not July.
Oh,
and I love Daniel's family and everybody I met. Like, I think when you talk about Ben Winters, and Jamie was over there. And then you as well, and like just the people I met, not only his family, but the people we met at the conference there were pretty good. And so and it's a lovely area. I mean, it's just I think my one takeaway of the whole thing was, like America, it's almost like we make stuff disposable, And I remember going into the cafe, and I see these people, and they're in there, and they said it's every certain Saturday of the month they come with people that are retired that can fix things. So if you have a vacuum cleaner or something, a toaster, whatever, you can, stuff that needs to be hemmed, anything, mend it, so there's different people have different skills, and it's all free. It's like donations. And I was like, that is wild. Like you have people that are retired who want to get out of the house, still want to keep their skills sharp and give back. And I'm like, that's one thing I remember from that. Cause I'm like, they don't do anything like that. Like, who do you go to? Like, I mean, in America, it's like, okay, this breaks, trash it, go buy a new one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, where I live up here, we have a big thing about lawnmowers. So all the old lawnmowers are being repaired and that sort of thing. And so you can still use the same lawnmower. There's even a lawnmower museum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with all the the push along lawnmower with the weight on the back to
Oh,
smooth
and the
the grass
blade?
down. Yeah.
That was a Mother's Day gift I bought Gwen when we first started dating. She had this small yard, and she's like, "I need a lawnmower." I went and bought her one of those little push ones with the blades,
Yeah,
and then she
yeah.
moved with me. I had like 2 acres. She's like, "You think I can use this to mow?" I'm like, "You'll be mowing for a week. By the time you get done, you'll mow it again." I'm like, "No, I have a riding mower for that." But
You
yeah.
know what though? You spoke about this place being more haunted, and we got the history, and you haven't.
Mhm.
It's not true because, like here, we see stuff on the land quite a
Mhm.
lot, and I'm sure you do as well. Where over in America,
Mhm.
I mean, we've got a phenomena. No, over here, and we call it lantern men. So over in the the boggy parts of where I am in Cambridgeshire,
Mhm.
that you see the lantern swinging, like a little man walking across with his lantern,
Oh my god.
and he's actually not there. He's like a spirit, a phantom with his lantern. And I'm sure, like, if you was to look over where you guys are, you would
Mhm.
find folklore or something from ancient times
Oh yeah.
that are just missed it now because people are not interested, they're not looking for it anymore.
Yeah, we
So
have Gettysburg. Gettysburg is probably like the place. It's 2 hours from us. So I mean, with the battlefield and stuff like that. Now that's we've done not too much investigation. We went on a tour when we were down because we had a campsite. We'd go camping down there, and then every now and then drive around the battlefield in hopes to see something. But again, I have my sister got married in Gettysburg, and she had somebody that came to the wedding and was out by a school in the daytime, and like it wasn't foggy or misty or nothing, but they snapped a picture and you could see a full apparition of a soldier, which that blew my mind. It's like, oh man, it's like, okay, where do I got to go? What do I got to do? Like even the building she got married, like the bottom floor was closed off because it was an old bank that was turned into like a catering area, but for some reason the bottom level, but they did let us go down. But again, I didn't see it. I was snapping pictures, didn't see anything, and it's like, come on, don't be shy, show me something. Well,
I've
well,
had some really great experiences out in America
well,
investigating. As I said to you off air, I was lucky enough to investigate a pot shop, a haunted pot shop.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
I didn't actually get anything there, but I got an education in legalized pot and what that was about, and it didn't impress me, to be fair. I managed to do the nighttime tour of Alcatraz and went up
Oh,
on the gun gallery when they were allowing you to go up on the gun gallery, and did a little mini investigation there. And that was brilliant.
did
Um,
you get anything?
no, I did feel like, like not welcomed. You're not
Yeah.
welcome here. Up on the gun gallery.
Okay.
You shouldn't be here. You're not welcome. Get down. You know.
Alcatraz is a pretty interesting place. I worked in Palo Alto for almost a year, and on a weekend or two, I'd stay and I did the tour of Alcatraz and been on that. And I just think that's, as far as a prison in the United States, that's wild. That it's called the Rock, and it's literally built on.
On a rock. Yeah.
There's nothing. So yeah, and this is before I really got. I mean, I got into paranormal really with Gwen, and our house is haunted. We got into it. I mean, I always believed in spirits. Always, I just never had any kind of luck with anything. Seeing it. I mean, I've heard stories, stuff like that from people or some friends, but no one's like, hey, let's go investigate. So it's like, oh, okay, but no, just hear stories and stuff. So yeah, and I believe in spirits and all that good stuff. And it's funny. My mom sometimes will be like in her house. She'll be like, I see somebody, and I'm like, okay, or and
Yeah.
we got married in Ireland, and she's like, I think I saw a knight at the end of my bed because we got married in a castle. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it must be and I joke. I'm like, it must have been the drugs you were on, the medications. But no, I mean, yeah. But I do miss it. I miss getting out there and investigating and so forth. That is just to see what's out there. I mean, we did our the team we were on did this one house, and it was open to the public, and never again will I do like a open to the public kind of thing, because it's like they're making so much noise, and you're trying to sit there in the dark, and then like all of a sudden people are stumbling, and it's like coming through, and it's like, nah.
No, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. It's like, when you're on your team, everybody knows to be quiet, kind of like, no, you're going here, we're going here, we're going to go to this floor, we're going to go to here, and everybody takes a floor, and not just kind of just willy nilly walks around.
Yeah.
So that, but yeah, we'll have to
a real paranormal investigation is quite boring.
Yep.
Because you're sitting there alone in the dark, and it is boring as hell, until something happens. It's boring. But when you're on a public event, it's so busy. It's more like a social.
Yep. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. And then I know the one of the things was two guys were doing something with a table, and they were all the tables moving, and I'm like, I don't know about that, because you could easily be kicking it was like a pedestal type of table, and it's like you could be. I didn't fall for it. I didn't know if that. I mean, that's just me being a little skeptic, because again, when somebody says this, or we did like investigate. I mean, we're not there, and even when we do investigate, people say like, what happened, or what's this, or what. We don't embellish. Even with the Bigfoot, with the investigation with Gwen, one thing we don't do is embellish. We don't make things up. We're not falsifying everything, because there's no room for that, because if you found out, you're done. And it's
exactly.
It's so if you didn't get anything, you didn't get anything. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's like, I'm not a hunter, but I can imagine somebody being out in the woods hunting, all day for a deer or whatever animal they're hunting, and not see one, even though like the day before, they were herds of them going by.
Yeah.
So, it's like, you didn't say like, I shot 3 deer. Oh, okay. Did you really shoot 3 deer? No, I didn't shoot a deer. But you don't make stories up. Yeah.
Do you know, and some people don't realize this, you don't need to necessarily be part of a big team or go on all these events. Like, go and enjoy little tours of these historic places that you've got over there.
Yeah.
I was so lucky. I wanted to go on a tour of the Shanghai tunnels in Portland.
In Portland, yes.
So I went down in these Shanghai tunnels, and I'm in the back of the group with a friend who's naughty and giggly, and we're just silly, And so we went to the back of the tour group, because some very serious people, up there at the front listening to the tour guide. And we were hanging in the back taking photos and messing around. And we got to a part of the Shanghai tunnels there. And don't ask me why. Well, to this day, we don't know why. We just started giggling. It wasn't even funny, but the giggles got into like the point where you couldn't stop laughing, even though you wanted to be serious, and it was getting painful to her, and we were crying, and the tour guide at the back sort of kept us back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going like, calm. I said, all I want to do is take pictures. And I'm like laughing, and I can't take a photo. And I was like, you take my camera. And so he gave us about a good 10 minutes away from everybody else because of the hysterical behaviour for no apparent reason. And we managed to pull ourselves away, join the rest of the group, and then the laughter stopped. When we came back through, that tour guide that was at the back, seeing that the last of us through, he pulled us to one side. He said, I've just realised what's happened to you two. And we're like, what? About the hysterics. And I went, what? He said, this part here is the opium den where you were standing and had your hysterics and couldn't control yourself. I went, really? We were standing in the opium den, couldn't control it. Honestly, it was terrible. I mean, we were laughing, but it was terrible. It hurt. We couldn't stop laughing and couldn't breathe, and the tears and, clutching our chests. And we were standing in the opium den when that happened, and we didn't know he was in the opium den. So strange things can happen, even just on a tour.
That is wild. And I remember being in Seattle, and I think they had something similar to like those tunnels where people, if they're with the ships coming in underground, just like one day you're there and boom, next thing you're kidnapped and thrown on a ship. Yeah. I remember a couple of us went out drinking and we ended up in a bar and they were saying down below was, would have been like part of that at the time. Yeah. So it's definitely true. I mean, but that is wild, just out of the blue, and it only affected you and the other person.
What the other person? Yeah. And there's no mediumship involved or anything that.
Would you say it's because you spent more time, like the group just passed through, and you kind of hung there? I mean, what
we did. We
sort of affect only you two and not the rest of the tour.
We hung back just to take photos because
okay.
I could have been Japanese in a former life. I love a photo. So, and because he hung back with my friend, hung back with me, and I looked at him after I took all these pictures and just started laughing, and he laughing, and then and the tour guide was standing off but to another side of it, watching us.
And to make sure you didn't get lost, huh? Yeah. That is so wild. Wow.
So you never know. Just being in part of a tour or going to visit a place, or you never know what you're going to experience or what's going to happen. Like the Bigfoot or the Dogman or some crazy creature or person or apparition or UFO. You just don't know. So
I mean, you just got to keep your eyes up and be open-minded. I mean, I know people like, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in this. And it's like, okay, I mean, I'm not trying to force things on you, like, but it's like, how can you explain something? Like, you can't explain things. Like, my parents stayed with us for several months, probably from like, my mom was in the hospital before Thanksgiving, in 20, I believe it was. And then my dad went in the hospital on Thanksgiving Day. He ended up having COVID. And then my mom came out. My dad came out the day before my birthday, and they were staying with us. And my mom was like, the one day, I think there was a woman at the end of my bed. And and then she's like, there was a man. And I tell the story often because it's my home. And she's like, and then a little boy came out of the closet and went down the hall. And I'm like, oh, okay. And we never told them there were spirits, but the team that we had, the one was a little psychic medium, and they were saying that there was 4 entities. There was a male, a female, there was a German figure, and there was something that just kept running up and down the hall, and she couldn't get a thing on it. But I remember my son being here and for the investigation, and when we were sitting in the kitchen, she's like, there's a woman standing right over your son's shoulder, just kind of like guarding him. Now, I did have somebody on my show last year that said behind me was my Nana. Now, I'm going to tell you this story. This is wild. No one would notice. So like from moving, getting married the first time, getting married to my son's mother and moving and everything like this. My Nana passed away in 93, so it's probably 32 years now. I thought I only had her watch. And I lost it. And it was just an old Citizen. Matter of fact, I'm still to this day, I'm sorry, she's not slapping me. I keep saying I want to take it to a jeweler and get it fixed. And years ago, I lost everything. Like I didn't have, I remember having a milk crate with like my yearbooks, my confirmation thing from when I was in grade school, all that. And one of the things was her watch. And my sister kept saying, you have her necklace. I'm like, I don't have her necklace. She's like, you have her watch and her necklace. I'm like, I never recall having her necklace. And then it really upset me more because now I have her, like this necklace she wore across like everywhere, like every picture you see her in, everything. So I had this woman on. She's like, your Nana's behind you. And she's talking. And I'm like, she's Italian. And it's going on. She's like, yeah, she's talking with her hands and all that stuff. And she's like, she wants you to either wear the cross or put it in your wallet. And I was like, what? Now, back up. That was last year, the Christmas before. My son shows up with everything, like my yearbooks, everything that I've lost. Somehow, I guess his mom and him found it. And in there was her watch and her cross. So no one would have known up until when she was telling the story. And the cross is still right here in front of my computer on a little thing. And I'm like, it's about yay big. So if it fits in my wallet, I don't want it to bend to,
Yeah.
to my butt in my wallet, And, but it was interesting because after the show, I opened that up and you could still smell her perfume. Like for
Oh,
some years, it's like her perfumes. And then I put it on. The chain's big enough for me to wear. I just
yeah.
choose to not wear. But I mean, like, there's like that. How could you, like, I mean, I never met this woman. She was a guest like you. And I mean, I met you, but I mean, I never told you about my family.
No.
So if you said something like that, I would be like, well, how, like, first of all, it's like, there's nowhere. I never posted on Facebook. Like this is my da 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 da. So you couldn't go back to my Facebook. It just blew my mind. So again, like there's people out there that have the ability, and I'm a firm believer. And I mean, seeing, like I said, just because I didn't see a full apparition. I mean, I've seen people, and I would.
You will.
I will.
You will.
We were at this one with the group, and it's funny. I mean, my just happened to catch it. Like we were at this one place, this mansion in Columbia, Pennsylvania, about 2+ hours from us. We were doing a preliminary investigation with the team I was on to see if we were going to go back and do it at night. And it was like a mansion. It was a feed mill. Now it's turned into one side is a printing place, and then you kind of have a center, and then the other, it's like three. We were inside the center talking to the woman, and it was like Gwen was here, I was here, and the woman was over here. And just out of the corner of my eye, an orb came straight up between us. And I was like, did you see that? She's like, I didn't. But when she went back to check her pictures, you know how like iPhones and the Androids have that live photo?
Yeah.
She snapped a picture straight ahead, but it caught the picture. You caught the orb at the tail end. I was like, that's wild. And then it turns out the woman at this place was from the same town I grew up in, had the same last name, but I don't think we're related. So yet she was talking to Gwen. Like, I'm getting a feeling like I've known you forever. So, yeah.
Do you know, it's strange because this house has been very quiet the last couple of months, but when I go and do my podcast, I was interviewing this guy. He was a medium, and I'm in the house on my own. The husband's out doing motorbike things with his friends, and I'm in the house on my own. And the guy I was interviewing asked me a question, and a male voice right next to me answered it. And I wear these earbuds, and you've got the microphone just here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
They heard it through, and I heard it next to me. And he asked something, and the response was, I don't think so. Right? That was next to me, an actual sentence.
Wow.
And they're going, is Andy in there with you? I said, no, please don't encourage it. I'm here on my own. And they asked another question, and he answered it again. And they're going, wow, we heard that. And I was like, no. You don't understand. I'm in the house on my own. Please don't encourage it.
Do you know who it is or the entity in your home? Obviously, he wants to make a podcast. He wants to be your co-host, maybe.
No, it's a really strange thing that happens here. I get things thrown at me. You hear somebody stomping up here like they're really angry, having a party in one of the rooms. And when you go up, there's nobody there. You hear stuff banging and crashing and like pictures falling off the wall onto the floor. But when you go out there to check it, there's nothing there. It's still where everything should be. Doors opening and closing on their own. It's crazy. And yet I've only ever seen this much of him. I have never seen his face. I've never seen the bottoms. He doesn't want to communicate with me. Okay. And all I know is he's associated with the railway. That's all I know, because there's a railway yard that my house was built on. And it's actually sitting on top of an old Roman villa, my house.
Oh, wow.
I just keep saying, well, whatever it is, just don't encourage him.
That is some, wow, that's some history there. But yeah, maybe he wants to be a co-host. Am I convinced?
No, he's not allowed. I don't want him.
Co-host would like to say a word tonight, or maybe a sentence.
No, it's not happening. And because I have artifacts in my house as well,
okay,
I wonder if anything has come in attached to those artifacts. Like I have old bones.
Oh,
I have some weird stuff in here that
yeah.
I've just collected over the years or have been gifted to me.
Hmm.
And I don't have the heart to get rid of it. I've got some really old books, and I've got a bone whistle up there that
Oh,
I used as an aid in a paranormal investigation, like calling the dead. Let's play
oh,
the bone whistle. Of course, like, it's just a myth.
yeah.
But hey, we've got one. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. We do all sorts of mad stuff.
Nice.
But again, I think it's also to do with energy levels. If your energy mixes well with
Yeah.
certain people, I think that just ignites things. And I think it's the same with UFO hunters, cryptid hunters. It's all
Mhm.
connected somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is connected. And I think if you sit in the right energy, at the right place, at the right time, and the earth wants to speak to you,
Hmm.
because I think the earth has got something to do with all of this.
Oh, yeah. They
I've
say
got a
love is
theory. I have
yeah.
a theory.
Well, it's funny you say speak to you because like our old neighbors that lived right a couple right on the behind us here. It was 2019. Yeah, it was before we got married in 2019. His sister has the ability to like psychic, does tarot reading and all that stuff. So they were like, "Hey, my sister's coming over on this Sunday. How about you stopping over?" Well, I was flying out to Seattle because I was working at Seattle Children's, and Gwen went over. So I was out, and when I landed, she's like, "You're not going to believe this." She's like, first of all, the cards that she got were like horrible. One was the death card and all that stuff, but she's reading her tarot and she's doing all of this, and I never got a feeling of anything bad on the land. But I have, when you come out our back of the house, there's a shed and then there's a chicken coop down there. And we were talking about getting chickens, and she's like, "We got to move the chicken coop." I'm like, "We're not moving that chicken coop." She's like, "Well, how'd you get it there?" I'm like, "Well, um, just a guy I know. I was dating his daughter who owned a farm. I brought it in. He brought his big tractor over with a chain, picked it up, kind of dropped it, used one of those little winches, like come alongs to put it in place." She's
Yeah.
like, "Can you hook it up to your truck and drag it?" I'm like, "I'll get 3 feet and it'll just start digging right into the ground." I said, "What's going on?" She's like, "You're not going to believe this." She's like, "During my reading, she stopped because their kitchen overlooks our back of the house." And she goes, "I want to tell you," she's like, "there is something down in the woods there." And she specifically pointed out a tree to Gwen. She goes, "Go down there because something wants to talk to you." Gwen was like, "Hell no, I'm not going down there. Those woods give me the creeps." And I'm like, "Why just those woods?" Because we're surrounded.
Yeah.
We have a cornfield, and the next house is down over the mountain, down over the bank. I should say not even a mountain, down over the bank, several hundred feet away, just like my neighbors are. And I'm like, and I said, "We moved the chicken coop up here. You don't think whatever's here by that tree that once talked, they can't come to this tree up here?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No." So we thought it was paranormal because that year we were out with we had her dog and my boxer at the time, and it was early spring, maybe like this, or early, and it was getting dark around 7, 8 o'clock, and like just as it was getting dark, and again, we tried to spell things because we do live in the country. So I mean,
Yeah.
today I didn't smell it, but at any given time, the farmers will start spreading their shit, and this will be like, wow, like holy hell, that's bad.
Yeah.
Day or two, but we were out there, and all of a sudden, like this smell of like death almost, just as quickly as it came, it was gone. And she was like, "You got to get in." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Just get the dogs. We got to go in." I'm like, "Okay." Then she told me when I flew out, she's like, "I just don't want to alarm me." She's like, "But I think there was something that could be demonic because it was the." And then we got in, she had her Bigfoot sighting, and I'm like, "What if, it's not paranormal? What if what wants to talk to you down by the tree is Bigfoot or,
Mm.
like that, because she had the sighting and she had the feeling of being watched, something's watching her. And, over the course of the last couple of years since this, we had friends and like, they were sleeping out in their yard, and her friend was like, woke up like 6 in the morning and Gwen was still sleeping. But when Gwen got up, she's like, "Hey, do you talk to your chickens?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "What do you say?" I'm like, "I normally say, 'Hey, ladies,' or 'Good morning, ladies.'" And she's like, "I heard your voice inside the chicken like run and that because since
Mimic.
she's like, I heard your voice. I got up and you were snoring and stuff like that." So I'm like, that's just wild. I'm like, and then when she finally mustered, it was really weird. It was like that was early spring, and then like I think it was probably a year later. And when she had the sighting, and after that, she was like, "I'm gonna go down to that tree." Well, we were out doing yard work and everything, and it was maybe like 4 in the afternoon, and I was down by the lower garage. She was there. I said, "Grab a shovel from the shed and meet me at the house." Da, da, da. And I'm like, she's like moseying on up, and I'm like, "Where's the shovel?" She's like, "I'm going to lay down." I'm like, "What do you mean you're going to lay down?" She's like, "I'm like wiped out." I'm like,
Oh,
"What?" She's like, "It whatever was there took every ounce of energy from her." She's like, and it took like a day or two or so for her to kind of just come around again, but it was like wild. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
you should do an experiment, and the Gansfield experiment with the mask and the ping pong balls for the
Okay.
eyes,
Hmm.
and flash a light in the face, and just
Yeah.
make her sit down. Do it at night.
Okay.
Put a hammer on her and play the white noise through her ears,
And see if she
and
can.
just see if she picks up or experiences or hears anything.
Oh, hmm.
Do it by that tree. She won't
Oh,
thank me for it.
if she's watching, if she doesn't on the call, she'll definitely watch us. I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, let's go do that. Let's go try the
I think
experiment."
because she's going to slap me when she sees me now, isn't she?
No, she won't. Because since then, with that, we mounted. Now we haven't had them running for a while because there was like thousands of pictures, but she did go through the pictures because we did mount two trail cams down there, and lo and behold, we did. It's the wildest thing. It was Christmas Eve of 20. I was say 23, maybe not last year, 23 or 22 or 23. And when you get back behind the coop, it's only a little bit of ground, and then it starts going down. And you could clearly see by one tree, and I don't want to speak for her if it's the actual tree, but it's a tree, and you could see eye shine. And then
Yeah.
down below, next to it, there's a smaller version eye shine, and it looks like the small one looking at the big one.
Oh, mummy and baby.
Oh, something, or father and son or something. But
Oh,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but we do have a lot of stuff going. It's been quiet for a while. I mean, the only thing we find odd is owls. Like now, it hasn't happened for a couple days, but last week during the day, you could hear owls, and owls are usually nocturnal. So it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of weird that we hear an owl for a while outside. So we don't know. But again, I'm not saying it's Bigfoot mimicking an owl, but they do mimic. They can mimic people. They can mimic animals as well as humans. But we have stuff we can't explain. We have broken branches that are off a tree out here off the side of the house. That one year we had like a little dusting of snow. Let the dogs out. They went around the back of the house, and I went this way to meet them. And it was a tree branch about that thick, maybe about that thick, underneath this tree that broke off. And instead of like breaking, it was a complete break. And instead of just being parallel with this way with the tree, it was parallel with the house. And I'm like,
Oh.
no way. And I'm like, the tree already leans like this because the way it grew when I planted it. So like a heavy snow, if it's not planted in the ground, eventually it could just be laid down. So there's no reason why a thick branch underneath would break off because there wasn't
No.
snow. And then like we had a contractor come in and do like all landscaping with the rocks and stuff. And that same tree had a small branch that was woven into it. And just Christmas before last, 24, maybe 23 or 24. No, maybe this year, 24, had a branch broke off because she was putting out an inflatable, and she noticed a branch was broke off and laid back in the tree. Just stuff like that. And then we
It's
had
crazy.
she saw red eye shine and freaked her out. I mean, like I was on, I think, a fire call at night, and she was in bed, and like she got the gun, she went running out because like the first thing she noticed was this eye, and she's looking around again, just trying to dispel, seeing if there's anything in our bedroom shining red lights, dots back. making
Yeah.
sure the neighbors out the front of the house don't have anything that would shine just too. And it wasn't a lot of lights; it was just too red. And the picture.
You need to put her, do it when you're around though. Just
Yeah,
put her in a little camping chair by that tree,
yeah.
and do the Gansfield experiment. Play the white noise through her ears.
Let's see.
Take away her, and do the flashing light in front of her, and just step back so you're not standing in front of her, just to see if she sees anything run in front of her or come towards her. Does she hear anything?
Yeah.
And get her to speak it as it's happening.
Okay. I will do that because I think it's interesting. I mean, we have something. I've never seen anything. I did see something. I can't explain it. It's my story is she was working. It was like 1:30 in the afternoon, and like my neighbors out front, you can't see. They're like 1,000 feet away. There's like my neighbor, and there's another house, and there's a ranch that's down there. So off the back of my garage here by the house, all I would see is my neighbor just see me stand there, and I was peeing. And it was 1:30. I had a pee real bad. Came in. I'm like, I'm not going to bed. I'm going to poop right at the end of the patio, start peeing. And it was like August, September of that year. It was fall because the leaves were falling. And I have a stack of wood that I cut down trees to build the lower garage. So I have the wood stacked up in pieces, but I'm yet to get it split. Right. So it's a couple feet high, maybe, 2-3 feet high. And I look over, and I don't know what I saw. All I know is it looked like hunched over. It looked like it was salt and pepper hair, and it looked like it just went this way, like to take a step. And as soon as it did, it disappeared. And I was like, as I'm standing there peeing, I'm like, what the hell did I just see? So I got done. I called Gwen. I'm like, you're not going to believe. She's like, what'd you see? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I saw, but I know. I had the bloodhounds at the time. We have the bloodhounds. I let them out, and it was the weirdest thing. They beelined it straight to the woods there, and they were running up and down in that area. The thing is, they were about 80 pounds at the time, and you could clearly hear their footsteps on the leaves. This made no sound. It almost looked like it wanted to take a step, and then it just vanished.
Yeah.
It was wild. I don't know what it is. But yeah.
Shall I share some pictures?
Yes, let's take some pictures. And I do see it's 8:07. Not that I want to rush you, but
that's fine. That's fine.
I know.
I'll share some pictures with you. So
yeah, let's do that.
These I've taken on investigation. There's only a few on here.
Oh yeah.
So over the years, on paranormal investigations. Oh dear, what have I done? There we go. Let's see if I can get a picture up first, so you're not looking at silly stuff.
Oh no.
Okay. Let's do this one. Let me open that up. So there's a really old place called, I don't even know what it's called, Crowland Abbey. Crowland Abbey. And this is, it goes back to the dissolution of the monasteries here in England, where Henry VIII was fallen out of favour with the Catholic faith, and he was getting rid of all the monasteries. This particular monastery survived because of where it was. It was on a little island in the middle of nowhere. And this was a picture. That is the original picture that I took.
Okay.
Right, I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. I don't know if you can see this.
Mm-hmm.
Through the archway. You see that?
The face, yeah.
Well, no? let me show you the next picture. If I come out of here, how do I do this? I'm not technical.
It almost looks like the Incredible Hulk that we had on a TV series in the 80s.
let me show you the next picture. Hang on. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to have to come out of it, I suppose, to be able to. Hang on. I'll show you the next picture, because the next picture, I think, gives it away a little bit. Hang on. How do I get back into my pictures? Oh, here we go. So the next picture, again, is taken at the same time, and I'm a little bit closer. So I got very brave. I was a little bit closer. If I zoom in a bit.
Oh, it's light.
It's just here. It's just here. There's somebody standing behind that gravestone. And apparently, this place is haunted by somebody called St. Guthlick. I can't pronounce this name right. And it is the patron saint of that place.
Oh.
I'm going to show you another one. I'm going to show you. This is even better still. And I think I showed it to you at the before we actually went on air. This one is a bit wild. So hang on, share screen.
All right.
I'm not very technical here. So
no, you're doing fine. Once it comes up, it says add. When you share your screen, it says add. Yep, here it is. Add the stage. There we go.
So this one is in an English pub, and a door used to open and close on its own after hours. And I happened to be in the right spot at the right time. The door opened and closed, and I took a photograph of a full apparition. Now I'm going to show you another picture, which is this sort of chopped down, but you'll see a lot of camera flare with the lights because I was in motion when I actually took the photograph. This made all the newspapers, and yeah, they were very excited about this particular picture. But if I show you the next picture, which is this same photo, only it's chopped down a bit, so you can see it a little bit clearer. See if I can get it up.
As you're opening that, Dave Lester from Virginia Cryptid and Paranormal said, "Did you see it as you took the pictures or after?" I guess he's referring to the one at the church, at the graveyard.
At the church. I saw it and I took photos and I was talking to it as I was moving closer. Anybody that would have seen me there would have thought I was a right weirdo, to be honest.
That's awesome.
And I was on my own.
And communicate with you then.
But I think because I was on my own,
okay.
I tend to try and talk my way out of a situation. Okay, so this one you will see a little bit more clearer. So it's that same photo, but it's just at the end of the bar. And if you look closely, you can see this man has a bicorn hat on with a feather. You can make out his face, or where his face would be. Mm-hmm. He has like a very dark navy long coat on. So he looks quite naval. Can you see this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yep. You can see the hand pumps there and the lines where I'm just not good at taking photographs. It's just rubbish. But he actually stood at the end of the bar like he was expecting somebody to give him a drink. And this was taken in a place where back in the day, it was a very busy naval port, and the guy that helped with the abolition of slavery was also close by. It was around about this time. So here in the UK, we're talking about the abolition of slavery. So this is quite amazing because he was aware of us, and he did something quite physical by opening the door to come in. Yeah. So this picture and when it actually happened, because other members of the team, they witnessed the door opening and closing, and that freaked them out enough that they didn't want to do anymore. It was like, well, come on, this is what you come for, really.
Yeah. I mean, come on, you got the door opening and closing. You got the full apparition. I mean, come on, that would be wild. I'd be like, let's see some more. bring a friend.
But you know what? They all go on about like all these big fangle camera equipment. I've got to have the must have this and the must have that. And it was a made at home digital camera, and it was a second-hand camera. I couldn't even see the screen because it was all smashed. I just took pictures blindly and then put them in my my laptop to see what I got after the investigation. You know, it was one of those.
Oh, okay.
And I managed to get this sort of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've noticed if I use ultraviolet light, UV, I get nothing.
Okay.
If I use infrared, I get loads. So that's something as well, I think. Does the UV light, is it frightening them off? It's sending them away? What is that?
That is interesting. That's funny. Dave says, just like on TV, see or hear something, they turn and run.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It's like,
I'd be useless for TV. Because when I get scared, I just stand there and laugh.
Oh, really?
I'm laughing.
No, it's
quite funny.
That is. But those pictures.
I have got loads and loads of pictures, but I'm afraid they're on this thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're just not plugged in. I should have been more prepared.
No, that's fine. I would love to have you back. I mean, definitely when DJ comes, I want to hear where you're going and how it went after, you know. So yeah, definitely. Then you could have your hard drive ready to go.
Never ever been on a ghost hunt before.
Oh.
And the place we're going to is really creepy.
Oh, really? Oh man, that's wild. I just think also the Jack the Ripper tour sounds fun, just because that's history and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's wild.
Well, I said to him, because he's never been to London before, never been to the UK before. So he said, come in, what? I said, well, we could do a Jack the Ripper tour. We can go to the Jack the Ripper Museum and then do the tour. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I want to do that. Will it be a private one? I'm thinking, no. You want the public there because you need to listen to their reactions and listen and the questions that they might have, Yeah. And, we can just stand at the back and be inconspicuous. It's going to be fine.
I go through a corridor or an alleyway that used to be opium, and you guys will be laughing like an opium den,
Well, there is a gin palace that it's the last surviving gin palace that we have in London.
Okay.
And there are some bullet holes still in the wall where there was some gunfight in the Victorian era sometime. But I don't know if we'll have time to go in there for a gin.
Wow.
Don't even know if he drinks gin, but
well, he will that day. At least I have to have one.
But cool. No, I just think that because he's our most famous serial killer that England has to offer, I suppose, Jack the Ripper. And everyone loves the story about Jack the Ripper. I thought, well, we'll just take him on a Jack the Ripper tour and let him drink that in. Who needs Alaskan killer Bigfoots when you got Jack the Ripper?
Exactly. That's wild. Oh, so he's flying. He's flying in from Alaska.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a trip. You better get a lot of sleep.
He better go to sleep on the plane because from the time I pick him up from Heathrow, I'm whisking him. Well, it depends on the time he lands. I'm going to be whisking him straight to Windsor Castle. Will be our first stop from the airport because it's right on the doorstep. So we might as well go there and do it on the way.
Really?
Yeah.
And is that a public area that you could go to, or is that a tour?
No, well, it's open to the public, and if you want to go in, you can get a ticket and just go and walk around Windsor Castle.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. See, I got to come back over with Gwen and do the London area, like Windsor and all of that, Tower of London.
But I'm bringing him to the Cambridgeshire area, so he's going to sort of be going up north a little bit to the east of England.
Oh, you're north of England.
Yeah, well, not North
London,
England.
London. Okay. North of
I'm
London.
north of London, if you like. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So you got a little bit of drive going back down to Daniel's event then.
yeah, that takes us 4.5 hours. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
too far. It's
not
not
too
too
far.
bad.
Okay.
But there's lots of good things. Well, we're going to be when we drive down. I think we're going to Stonehenge first,
Okay.
and I know DJ wants to go to Stonehenge, and then we're going to look at Woodhenge,
What?
Glast. Yeah, it's even more impressive than Stonehenge. Believe me,
Really?
honestly,
We did
I
the
think so.
Stonehenge on the way back that way from when Gwen and I. We took rent a car. We left the airport, but we didn't do the pay-in one. We just kind of did the outside just to see. 'Cause I was
Ah,
like, oh my god, because like you got to get tickets. I'm like tickets. I'm like, come on, this is
yeah.
yeah. So we just did the outside just to see how impressive it was. I mean, it was still taking in the scenery. It was like, yeah, that's cool.
And
Nonetheless,
then I'm gonna take him to see Glastonbury, to King Arthur's grave, or the site of his grave, apparently,
okay.
um, at Glastonbury. But I'm gonna show him all the weird and wonderful weirdos of Glastonbury. It's brilliant. I love it there.
Well, you sound like a
Anything
good
goes.
tour guide. How do hey, when Glenn and I come up, we're gonna have to book you for a tour. I mean, come on. I mean, all the places you're naming, it sounds interesting. King Arthur and Jack the Ripper, all that good stuff. Yeah. I mean, there's a
Yeah, I'm
cool.
not working for Daniel. It's just like a friend's coming over. I'm going to show him the sites, and then we'll end up at the conference, and
So your new
we're
job
going to
is
have a mad
finance
time.
paranormal tour guide. So you're gonna have your finance job, your paranormal investigating, and then your next job is gonna be tour guide.
I
I
tell
mean,
you what, Michael, we can do like a tour guide business. Like, we get them in from America, you bring them over, and we'll hire a bus, and we'll just take them on the road.
there you go. It'll be that's right. Mike and Vivian's tour, World UK tour. You know, just like the one that the family does the Italy tours by Peru or whatever it is.
we
They're
could
like,
we
yeah,
could do like they do like an English American exchange. Like, we can get some English guys over to Pennsylvania and vice versa.
that's right. We'll take them to Gettysburg and some other locations. Yeah, there's definitely some locate. I mean,
Take them to the woods on your farm, on your
on the
property.
house. Yep, yep. See, if they see Bigfoot or get something thrown at them, because I mean, that was one thing. I was like, I was having pool problems, and like 9 o'clock, just as it was getting dark, something came like throwing at me, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of here.
Can't you leave them some gifts, like food? Leave gifts out.
Oh, some people said that, but we decided not to gift anything to them. I mean, the one time we gifted them like a golf ball, and it still stayed there and stuff like that. But it was really weird. We had a friend over, and for a weekend, and it's strange. They went into the cornfield behind the house, and just a little bit down in the cornfield off to the left, there was what looked to be like stuff, like something was bedded down, but it was really weird. There was like 5 golf balls in that area. Now, I do know there's a golf course about 2 miles from my house. I also know that the neighbor at the end of my driveway to the right used to drive golf balls onto my property because I'd be mowing and I'd be like, son of a bitch, pick up your golf balls or drive them or make sure they go into the woods. But I'm thinking squirrels and chipmunks and rabbits and that, they're not going to, something picked up those golf balls and put them there, So yeah, but we don't do the food gift because we felt like, what if we, like when we go away, like to these conferences or when we were over in the UK, or if I was coming over with her this year, what happens if, they're expecting a gift and, here we're not, we didn't leave something, because one of the first things was, we have regular fencing on the bottom. So we ended up putting just 4 2x4s in the ground, and then we end up framing it and doing it for like up above. So we have old metal, like a roof, like on top. We have regular fencing on the bottom, and we have chicken wire on the top. So we stapled everything and used a little U-shaped brad nails to tack all that in. And one of the first things we noticed was the backside of the chicken coop was almost like a sardine can. It was opened up and twirled around. So we had some chicken. We
Oh,
lost some chickens at the time, and we lost a rooster. And it was like whatever it was, like had to have hands and a thumb. So I mean,
yeah,
and I'm here.
yeah,
I'm here 17 years. I've seen deer, rabbits, squirrels, all that good stuff, foxes and that, but I've never seen a bear. And then I'm thinking, like, a bear wouldn't just stop; it would just destroy everything and eat
yeah,
and go after all the chickens because it's not like it's on a diet where it just wants to have. Well, I'll just take one chicken for now and come back. It would have destroyed everything, but this wasn't destroyed. It was just the backside where the fence was, and it was just rolled back, and it was the strangest thing. So
yeah.
yeah,
It's crazy. Mind you, they say never ever trust a bear. Out of all the animals in the animal kingdom, it's the bear you should be worried about, because when they lose it, they lose it,
oh yeah,
and there's no warning. It's like bang.
right. Yeah. Like I said, I've never seen a bear here, but deer, all that good stuff. So we can't explain it. I mean, again, we're not don't try to push an agenda on anybody. It's like we share you the facts, and then you make a decision. If there's something that is could possibly do it, I mean, we have no proof because we didn't have cameras up at the time. So yeah,
Oh
but
wow, it's a crazy
yeah,
world we live
I
in, isn't it?
know it is wild. And right here, it's like, and then so regardless of the entities in the house or whatever outside, I mean, it's not malicious. We definitely don't feel threatened by any of them. So I mean, it's just I think the whatever's outside, if it is a Bigfoot or two, or it's definitely watching. It's Gwen that it's after. Watches him because things
Mm.
happen. Like I said, when she like we'll be out, she'll rock. Like, we had a friend over. I said with the thing, we're out by the fire, and it was clearly a big rock that just went like thump. And rocks don't fall out of the tree, but you could clearly hear like it landed in the. And we don't have like lush grass. Ours is just weeds, a little bit of grass, and a whole lot of shale. So that's the one. So
I'd be shouting back like, next time you throw one, can you make sure it's got a few gold ingots in it for
I
me,
know
please?
throw some gold,
Yeah,
bring.
throw a piece of gold over.
Or if you are interdimensional, bring something rare, like a
A
meteorite or
big
something.
diamond.
But it was at the time we had the first, like we had the patio extended, and the contractor that we hired to do the boulder work. It was right before, let's see, it was in August, and where were we going? I forget, or no, I think it was, yeah, was that we were going somewhere for a Bigfoot festival, and I was like, maybe we get back, they'll just be mysteriously laid in place because you needed a big bulldozer, like a excavator with the claw, like the arm and
Yeah.
everything to put him in place. I'm like, well, maybe he'll just pick them up and just put them in place for us. We came back, they were still in the middle of the yard, just dumped. I mean, you know,
You never know. You never know.
yeah,
He might throw something really valuable to you one day. You can
it would be nice. It would
just
be
put
nice.
it out there to him.
Exactly.
Something nice.
Just something we can make money so we can quit our jobs and just investigate full time. We don't want to,
Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it?
it would. Yeah, like Gwen said, she doesn't want to be famous. She just wants to be able to make a living off of research, out in the woods and stuff like that, which is, at this point, it's like, I hear you. Let's just cover my bills.
Yeah.
I don't have to work. But yeah. So, well, we are at 8:30. It's 1:30 your time. I'm going to be respectful. I would love to have you come back if you have back. I mean, the conversation was great. I hope everybody who's watching enjoyed what you heard. Watch it again. Share. Tell your friends. This is YouTube. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you're aware of the next show, which is, again, I changed it up. It's the second and the fourth Monday of the month. So the next one will be in April, and it's going to be Stacy Lee Smith. That's going to be my next guest. And again, if anybody does watch this and they want to be a guest on my show, because the new season's starting, and I'm booking for from after the fourth week of April on, I'm open. Feel free to reach out to me. I think, I forget my email address. I need to make a card. Let's see. Do I have banners? Yeah, I thought I had one, but it's let me see real quick. I hate to do this, but let's see. Here's my email. Where's my email? It is oh, it's at gmail.com, but I can't I think it's CARCM.M or is it M dot? Let's see. I can't. Oh, this is horrible. Let's see.
Or they can find you on Facebook.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook as well. And I think I'm going to just go ahead and now that I have it here, I'm going to go to StreamYard. I'm going to create a banner and I'm just going to pop that in right here and add the banner. I'm going to show it. So if anybody has anything, you go to crcm.mpurcell@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest or know anybody who would love to share their experience, if you're coming up, if you know, promote anything, if you're at festivals, you're writing a book, you're doing any investigations, always looking to hear some good story and see some good photos. Thank you, Vivien. It was.
That's just the tip. I've got video footage that next time I come on, I'll get the video footage of a telephone call that I made to the dead.
What?
Seriously,
yeah. You better come back. And I don't know. I might not wait till next season. I may have you come back later this season so I can see that and hear about your Jack the Ripper and everything with DJ and just to see his experience because you said he's not into paranormal. So it's going to be interesting, especially the places. Yeah. Again, everybody, thank you for watching. Everybody have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and take us out. And and again, thank you. And I'll let Gwen know what we're going to do, and she'll see you in 2 more months.
And she'll slap me, yeah.
But maybe before then, we'll have to have her out in the woods doing that. That way she can report to you. Yeah,
that'd be good.
So, all right, here we go.
This has been a CARC